Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. Today we're going to step back into the Simon Well along with the Cthulhu mythos for most of the rest of the year as we play Cthulhu Death May Die. In this game, our goal is to defeat whichever Ancient One we're playing against, but we need to be careful here. We get our characters stronger by pushing the limits of their sanity, but if we push too far, our characters will go insane. If we lose any of our characters before the Ancient One makes his way to the board, we lose the game. Conversely, after the Ancient One wakes up, and I'll explain more on how that happens as the game progresses, once the Ancient One makes his way to the board, we lose if every investigator is eliminated, so we do need to be careful on both fronts. But with that, let's go ahead and go first through today's scenario. We're going to play through Blasphemous Alchemy, and we'll take a quick look at the board. But we'll take a little look at the board later, but first, let's look at our scenario card. What's worse than cultists? Cultists who set the place on fire. Another night and another damn ritual to summon an elder god. If we blow up their labs, we can cause a lot of trouble for whatever it is they're summoning. To disrupt the ritual, so to get us where we can actually punch our Ancient One, we need to destroy 4 of the 5 labs by dealing 4 or more total wounds to them with the destroy equipment action. When the Elder One advances, and I'll explain more about that later, place 1 fire token in each space that has any cultists and no fire. A couple of episode-specific actions where we can extinguish fire by making a roll, remove 1 fire token per success in your space. And then destroy equipment. Make a roll against a lab in your space. This doesn't count as an attack. Each success deals 1 wound to the lab. When a lab has 4 or more wounds, destroy it and turn over the lab token to reveal its effect. So that's our episode-specific card. So I think that will actually serve as a good segue to move down to the board so we can take a look and see what's going on. So between these two boards, we have basically all of the relevant information that we're going to need as far as the scenario is concerned. So you can see over here we've got our starting fire, our starting shot, our starting space is actually just over here, just off shot, but that's where the investigators will start the scenario. And you can see we've got our fire tokens already laid out. Our gates are all set. We've got the red gate down here, yellow gate down here, blue gate over here. We've got a bunch of cultists around the board. We've got our fire tokens laid out. These are the labs that we're going to need to destroy during the scenario. Then we've got a couple of particularly dangerous monsters, and I'll go through those when we start going through everything else on this board. So we've got a Bayaki that starts here, and a fire vampire that starts here. Anyway, let's go through those monsters real quick. We'll start off with our episode-specific monsters. So first we have the fire vampire. Has 4 health and an effect on here that I can't get. Here we go. Oh, this is nice. So it'll attack us with 2 black and a green die. And when it attacks, first place a fire token in its space. Then the Bayaki has 3 health, attacks with 2 green and a black die. When it attacks, each star symbol or the elder sign also counts as a success. So when they make a roll, when the episode adventure earlier said make a roll, it means we'll be rolling our 3 black dice. So on here, we see various faces. So we've got a blank face that does nothing. That's what we want to see as a success. We also moderately want to see that because that's how our characters get stronger along their sanity tracks, and I'll go through that more when we get over to the characters. Then we have another face for both, for success. Then we have a face that gives us both a success and a sanity, so that might be the best roll to see early on, but we definitely don't want to see it later. And then we've got the elder sign, so that's what the Bayaki's special ability is talking about when it says when it attacks, each elder sign also counts as a success. So we don't want to see those when the Bayaki is attacking. Then let's take a look at our Ancient One, where we're actually going to be taking on Cthulhu. Focus. There we go. Okay, so when Cthulhu advances, put a relay token on your space. If there's already a token there, put it on the nearest space that doesn't have one. Summon a cultist on each relay space. Move the star spawn one space toward you. If it's not on the board, summon it at the blue gate. In the case of this scenario, the blue gate is over here. So the way Cthulhu is going to advance is every turn, and we'll see this more when we actually get into the first Mythos phase. So every turn, we'll go through 3 actions, then we'll draw a Mythos card, and I've got the deck off shot here. We'll see that when we get into the game. But once we get 3 of these symbols over here, Cthulhu will advance, and then we'll have to do all the stuff that relates to when the Elder One advances. In this case, putting a relay token down, which the relay tokens look like that. We'll probably have... By the time the scenario is over, I expect we'll have a mess of those on the board. So, and then we also summon a cultist on each relay space, and then the star spawn moves toward us, so it's not on the board already, which it probably will be at some point during the game. Anyway, the Ancient One also comes with its own minions. So we've got our cultists, which have 2 health. They attack with 2 green dice. These cultists unleash the power of relay. Not something we want to see. Then we've got the star spawn that's got 7 health. Thankfully, we only have 1 of those. Attacks with 3 black dice. And when attacking or being attacked while in a relay space, add 2 insanity to the roll. So yeah, that'll be an automatic 2 sanity that we'll have to lose if we attack it on a relay space. But that's everything relevant to the villains in this scenario. Now how the heck are we going to win this scenario? Well, to answer that question, let's drop down and meet our heroes. Here's our first investigator for today, Tina. Each investigator comes with a little flavor text. I don't go looking for trouble. It finds me without any help. So as you can see, we have several different meters on here. So first we have the Sanity Track that I was talking about earlier. So we'll advance along this as our characters get more and more insane. We'll advance along that. When we hit the red markers on here, we'll stop. Each character also has an insanity disorder that will go off at that point. Then we'll get to level up one of our skills. I'll go through each character here real quick. So each character also comes with 3 special abilities. A character-specific one and 2 that are shared. So Tina's is called Femme Fatale. So once per roll, it's moderately hidden by the... Some of these might be moderately hidden by the tentacle, but I'll try to explain everything going on. Once per roll, before rolling dice, you may take 1 wound to gain the green die. So anytime we have to make a roll, and I think that even works on the episode-specific actions, not that I'm likely to use it there, but once you may take 1 wound to gain a green die, and then as you level that up, instead you gain 2 green dice. Instead, gain 2 green dice or remove a die of your choice. Then at maximum level of that, instead of taking 1 wound for your ability, give that wound to any figure in your space. So essentially, the way I always describe this is you start putting the moves on the cultist, then you knee him down south, and then you try to hurt him further. Stealth is her next ability. At base, when you run, you may sneak once. 1 enemy doesn't follow you. Normally, when you move into a space, all of the enemies move with you. So you do have to be careful of that. But if you have stealth, you can sneak past 1 enemy. As you level that up, instead when you run, you may sneak 3 times, and deal a wound to each enemy you sneak past. Instead, you may sneak any number of times. Her last ability is Brawling. Gain a green die when attacking a target in your space. When you attack, you may target any number of figures in your space. Split the wounds as you like. Then you have 2 free rerolls when attacking a target in your space. Then when you attack figures in your space, deal the full wounds to each target. So if we get a mess of something, then we can just take everything out. We also have our health meter and our stress meter. The stress meter, think like clues or focus in some of the various Arkham Files games. You can spend stress to re-roll your dice, and that's something we'll have to be careful on managing. Wounds, just like they sound, if we take 5 wounds, we're defeated. Similar to if we go insane on the Insanity Track. If we lose any investigator before the Ancient One comes out onto the board, then the game's over, we lose. So what are these insanity disorders that we're going to have to deal with? Each character has been assigned a disorder from the Arkham Sanitarium. So when we get to the green threshold or the red thresholds on the Sanity Track, these will go off, and then you'll get to level up one of your skills. So Tina's disorder today is Psychotic Outbreaks. Ooh, this could be good if we're careful with it. Move to the nearest space with at least one figure on it. If your space has other figures in it, don't move. Then deal 2 wounds to all other figures in your space. So we can potentially use this to take out a lot of enemies, but we need to be careful because if our investigators are nearest to them, Tina will go after them as well. So yeah, something to be very careful about. But anyway, that will do it for Tina. Now let's go meet our second investigator. Before we jump into meeting our second investigator, here's Tina's mini. She'll be doing everything on red, and I'll move her up to the starting space. Our second investigator is Mario. So I won't go through everything that I did as far as the various tracks on here, the sanity, stress, and wound. We'll just go through his special abilities, his disorder, and then we'll get him up to the board. So his special ability is Interrogation. Cultists gain 1 less green die when attacking anyone in your space, which is a good thing because they'll be attacking with 2 green dice. Cultists can't spawn in your space on a level up. Instead, cultists can't spawn and get 1 less green die while attacking within 1 space of you. Then at the end of your turn, just flat out kill all cultists in your space. That could be very handy. Second ability is Marksman, as we see him having a pistol on both his character and in his figurine. He'll be in our blue base, and we'll move him up to the board as well. So Marksman says he can attack a target 1 space away. Then as he levels up, gain 2 green dice when attacking a target not in your space. You may attack an additional target 1 additional space away, up to 2 total. Then you may perform 1 free attack per turn against a target not in your space. His last special ability is Toughness. You have 1 free reroll when attacked or rolling for fire, and I'll explain more about fire when that actually happens. Instead, you may reduce wounds taken and loss of sanity by 1 when attacked or rolling for fire. Instead, you may reduce wounds and loss of sanity by 1 from any source. And then instead, you may reduce wounds taken by 2 and loss of sanity by 1 from any source. So Mario's designed to be a very tough character. But let's see what his disorder has to say about that. There we go. So his disorder Masochism. Each time you take wounds, put the same number of wound tokens on this card. If there are no tokens on this card, take 1 wound. Otherwise, remove all tokens from this card and heal 1 stress per token removed. So apparently now Mario wants to hurt himself, wants to get hurt. Good to know. Anyway, on that slightly warped note, let's move down and meet our third investigator. And I almost forgot about Mario's flavor text. I do not threaten. Instead, I make promises. So next up we have the kid. I'm not even going to try to reenact that maniacal laughter. Here's her mini. She'll be in purple today. Her special ability is Gate Manipulation. If you're in the same space as a gate, monsters and cultists summoned there take wounds equal to half their health rounded up. We can use that to help us deal with the star spawn very easily, which might actually be tempting to make a beeline for the blue space right away, just so we can deal with the star spawn. Try to deal with the star spawn right away. Skill works if you're within 1 space of a gate. I may try to level that up as quick as I can. If you're within 1 space of a gate, you are always considered safe to rest. And I'll talk a little more about that when it actually comes up during the game. If you're within 1 space of a gate, you gain a green die and have 1 free rest action. So the rest action is one of the actions that you can take. You can't take it when there are enemies in your space, but you're able to recover 3 wounds or stress in any combination that you want. And then we have Marksman, which we went through with Mario, so I won't go through that again. Arcane Mastery is a new skill. When making any roll, you may count 1 Elder Sign as a success. That's her first ability. Instead, you may count any number of Elder Signs as successes. Heal 1 stress for each Elder Sign you count as a success, and you may count any number of Elder Signs as 2 successes each. That could come in very handy when especially later in the game when we need to punch Cthulhu in the mouth. Then the kids disorder. Keep the last Mythos card any player draws with no summoning symbol near this card until they're shuffled. Because the kid has recurring trauma, if there's a Mythos card near this card, play it as if you had just drawn it, otherwise heal all of your stress. Fortunately, that only goes off when the kid hits her sanity threshold, but man, that is a dangerous card to have. Because we know there are some pretty horrendous cards in the deck. But anyway, that will do it for the kid. Now let's go meet our last investigator. Here's our last investigator, Olivia. Here's her mini. She'll be in orange today, so we'll move her up to the board. Her flavor text, I swear, I thought that would miss. So, as you might have guessed by her flavor text, she is a little bit unlucky. That's her special ability. When you make a roll that results in no successes, you may gain 1 success for each die you rolled. You may change one of your dice to a blank face, except when rolling against yourself. Instead, you may change up to 2 of your dice to a blank face. Instead, you may change up to 3 of your dice to a blank face. This is going to be interesting because I've actually never played Olivia before. We have the same stealth that Tina has, so I won't go through that again. Swiftness. When you run, you may run 1 additional space. Then you have 1 free run action each turn. During a run, you may take 1 investigator with you when leaving a space. Then you have 1 extra action each turn. So we can potentially get her up to 4 actions late in the game. Then her disorder, Olivia, has catatonia. Lay your figure down. While down, you're safe and can't be attacked. Can't be attacked, investigate, move, or take any actions other than rest. You must take 1 stress to stand up. Alright, so that is all of our heroes. Now I think we're ready to get up to the board, and I think we're ready to start this game off with Tina. Once again, we have Tina over here in the red base. I think we're just going to start hitting some cultists in the mouth. So for action 1, Tina's going to move 1 to grab one of the cultists because she, again, as we remember from stealth, she can sneak once, so this cultist isn't going to follow her. But I think we are going to have to try to take both of these cultists out, so we're going to have to spend a little bit of stress to do it, most likely. Action 2, she's going to fight this cultist. So we'll bring the dice tower into shot. I'll bring it, I think we'll put it there. Here's my dice cup. Okay. So we start off with the 3 black dice that are going in the cup. It's pretty deep there, but you can see it. We get another die. We get another green die for brawling. And then do I want to take a wound to gain the black die, or to gain another green die? I don't think I do. I think I'll just plan on spending stress instead, unless I really need to. So we'll go ahead and give this a roll. And remember, the cultists have 2 health, so we want to try to take both of these cultists out ideally. Let's see if that plan cooperates. We get no successes and 1 sanity. That is very bad. So we will spend a stress to re-roll one of these black dice. There we get a success. Then we'll spend another stress to re-roll the other black die. Okay, so this is a roll I like. So we'll take out one of these cultists. We do lose a sanity though, which is fine. I don't really mind that all that much. Then for action 3, I'm going to run that back against the other cultist, and this time I am going to take a wound to get an additional an additional green die. So there's the dice from before, then the other green die from Femme Fatale. So we've got 5 dice. After that roll, that's a roll Olivia wouldn't have minded seeing in the least, but I don't want these cultists to be hanging around right away. That is more like it. So Tina will take out this other cultist. Then that will be Tina's 3 actions. So now we got our first Mythos card of the game. First card up. Monsters in the Labs. Each fire, vampire, and Bayaki moves 1 space toward you. So we'll see if we can zoom out and get everything in shot. I think we'll have to move back up top to resolve this card. Alright, so we're back up top. The Bayaki is actually going to move 1 space toward Tina. This entire tile, since it didn't have any borders, counts as 1 long space. Then the Fire Vampire will move right here. So that's moving toward the staircase to get downstairs. Then, as we move back to the card, we also summon a Fire Vampire on yellow and a Bayaki on blue. So, an important thing to know here is that once we run out of a mini, we just ignore that part of the card. So we summon the Fire Vampire on yellow and the Bayaki on blue. And then because this doesn't have the symbol on it, we do move it next to the kid's recurring trauma, so that if the kid's insanity goes haywire, we do have something that we can draw on right away. But anyway, that will do it for Tina's turn. Now let's get back down to the board and see what Mario's doing. We still have the dice tower in shot for Mario, because like Tina, Mario is actually going cultist hunting as well. But he's going to use Marksman to go after this cultist. So once again, he'll get his 3 black dice. And he's able to do this because he's got Marksman, as we recall. Alright, so we'll go ahead and give that a roll. And again, we might try to spend stress to get this cultist down, but we'll have to see how that plays out. No stress needed because we do take the cultist out, but we also gain 1 insanity. We also lose 1 sanity. So I'll advance that on the track. And for action 2, he's going to run. So he's going to move 1, 2, 3. Now, you're probably wondering why Tina doesn't have a fire token on her yet. The reason she doesn't have the fire token is because you actually don't gain the fire token on your character until you leave the space. So she'll probably pick it up on her next round. But Mario does have a fire token on him. So we'll deal with that at the end of the turn. Then he's going to make another attack on the cultist here, as he's just barely in shot. So yeah, we'll make another attack on that. Then we do get the free reroll when we're attacked or rolling for fire. But right now I'm more interested in taking the cultist out, which I will spend a stress to try to do. One wound is probably fine because I can send somebody else in, most likely, and deal with that cultist. But anyway, we have a wound on the cultist, which is just barely out of shot. That was all 3 of Mario's actions, so now he gets a Mythos card. So his card up. Each investigator in a relay space loses 1 sanity. Thankfully, we don't have any relay spaces up. But we do have a symbol, which means Cthulhu is closer to advancing, but also that doesn't change the card out for the kid. So that is something to note. And I actually forgot to do this for Tina as well. There's one more phase in the turn. Tina actually is safe, so she gets a discovery card. Mario will get one in a second as well. So Tina gets a Furious Student. He can't hurt me anymore. I have a gun. You may take 1 wound to claim either the Furious Student or the pistol. So the pistol, when attacking, gain a green die. If you have the Marksman skill, gain 2 green dice instead. Or Chester the Furious Student. You cannot have both Chester and the Professor as companions. Discard 1. Actually, I would have had Tina take a wound to claim the pistol. And I might have traded that over as action 3, but I'm not going to run that back. Anyway, Mario's safe, so he will get a discovery card as well. You're considered safe if you have no enemies in your space. So Mario gets lab books. It's filled with a strange scrawl. Something about swapping the minds of humans and animals. Looks like nonsense. You may claim the lab notes. Gain 2 green dice to all rolls if you have at least 1 student or animal companion. Ooh. I should probably think about getting this over to getting a companion in that case. I'm not going to rewind Tina's taking the pistol either, because we'll have more companions to come in the scenario. But anyway, one more thing on Mario's turn. So because Mario picked up a fire token, we actually have to make a roll against the fire. And we have to remember he's got a free reroll from Toughness. I'll say it one of these days. So the way it works is we take a wound on a success and a sanity per tentacle rolled. You roll 1 die per fire token. So Mario has an Elder Sign. He also has the free reroll, but he's not going to worry about it here because the Elder Sign doesn't count for anything on a fire roll. So we do get to discard the fire token as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that was an episode fire. Not that it really matters. But anyway, that will do it for Mario. As long as we're right here, we'll go ahead and have the kid go next. The kid is once again on the purple base. So the kid is going to move. How is the kid going to move? I think the kid is actually going to go ahead and move 1, 2. She's going to stop in the space. Then she's going to trade with Tina and take the pistol because she's also got Marksman. So that will actually work out very nicely for us. And that's not going to work. There we go. So that was action 2. Then she's... Oh, I actually moved the wrong character. I moved Olivia. I wanted to move the kid. So the kid's actually going to go ahead and take a shot at the Bayaki. So she's got... So she does have Marksman, so she gets to take a shot from a space away. So we get our 3 green dice. And then we have 2 more green dice because of the pistol. Let's go ahead and see how this goes. I actually moved the... Let me move the camera here just so you can see what's going on. There's the kid in shot. And then we're going to take a shot at the Bayaki right here. I actually don't have the dice tower in shot here. Let me see if I can zoom out so you can see the result of the roll. There we go. But yeah, even without Arcane Mastery, we actually already had 3 base successes, and we'll count one of those Elder Signs as a success for 4. So the Bayaki has been taken. So this Bayaki has been taken out. But we need to be careful though, because anything that moves toward an investigator is going to move toward the kid, and the kid is probably going to get rocked. But let's see what's happening on the Mythos card for the kid. Astral Promise. Move the nearest cultist to your space and choose one. Add a relay token to your space. If there's one already there, add it to the nearest space without one, or lose 2 sanity. So that will change out the card that's by her recurring trauma. We'll put this there instead. So we move the nearest cultist to her space, which is right here. And then I'm actually going to have the kid lose 2 sanity. Because I don't mind moving up that track a little bit, especially early on. But because we had to move the cultist to the space, she is not safe. Which means she doesn't get a discovery. Instead, she gets attacked by the cultist. As we recall, the cultist has 2 green dice. And she takes nothing. So that's a very fortunate attack roll for the kid. Now we go into Olivia's turn. So for action 1, Olivia is actually going to join the party on this space. For action 1. Action 2, she is going to... Actually, is she going to join the party there? 1, 2... No, she's not going to join the party. She will, however, take a shot at the... Actually, you know what? Better idea. I forgot she's got swiftness and stealth. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then Olivia will gain a fire token. So we'll put that on Olivia. Action 2, she'll try to finish off the cultist in that space, and then we can get to work on the lab. In theory. We do have a success and a tentacle, but most important part is that the cultist is dead. So now we can go to work on the lab. And I think for action 3, she will go to work on the lab. So once again, that's going to be 3 black dice, which are already in the cup. Oop, I had 1 die fall out of the tower and go flying. There it is. Ooh. All right. But I do like what I see so far on the roll. Alright, I can deal with hitting an Elder Sign, but we get 2 wounds to the lab, and Olivia does lose another sanity. So that's all 3 of her actions. Loses another sanity, so that's all 3 of her actions. And now we find, on the Mythos for Olivia... Conflagration. Add 1 fire token to your space and to each adjacent space. Oh, this is going to suck. So to your space and each adjacent space. So fire is going to go here. Is that adjacent? Thankfully, no. Here. That's still bad enough, though. So we add a fire token here, here, and here. I may need to have Olivia try to extinguish that fire before she leaves. But she is safe because she took out the cultist, so she gets a discovery card. She finds... The assistant janitor. I got away, but he's going to kill us. We have to hide. If you have a guilty conscience, take 1 stress, which we don't. You may take 2 stress to claim the assistant janitor, or take 1 stress to claim the bleach. You may discard this card and the ammonia card to deal 6 wounds to all figures, either in your space, including you, or an adjacent space. So we know ammonia is an item later. Do I want to risk it coming up? Or do I just want to take another level in stealth? Because that'll let me sneak 3 times. We've already got the board starting to get clogged up, so I think I'm going to risk taking the ammonia. So I can risk I'm going to take the bleach so I can risk seeing the ammonia come up later. Alright, so we'll put that on Olivia's character sheet. Then she only has 1 fire token right now, so she does have to make a roll against the fire. She'll lose a sanity, another sanity on that. She's getting close to her first sanity threshold, but she does lose the fire token. Anyway, that will do it for Olivia. That will do it for our first round, so let's move back up top to kind of take a quick survey of the board. Alright, so we've managed to do a lot of cleanup on the cultists on this board, even if we've got more dangerous stuff that's come out onto the board. We've got 2 wounds on our first lab, but fire is already starting to spread out of control. Cthulhu, shockingly, hasn't advanced yet, but he's going to on the next symbol that we draw, which will also shuffle the kids' recurring trauma, so I'm not entirely against that idea. But we also, looking at our player boards, we have Olivia close to hitting her first sanity threshold. So, yeah. The kid got attacked last turn from this cultist, so I'm wondering, I was just figuring out why I only had 3 discovery cards when I've had 4 turns, but now that we've got that straightened out, let's move down to Tina and see what we can do about clearing some of this mess out. Alright, so once again we've got Tina up here in red. She's going to try to take this cultist out. So she gets 3 black dice for her default attack, and then a green die for attacking a target in her space. I had 1 fly out, but I like the result. Okay, so the cultist is dead, but Tina does take 2 sanity. So the cultist is dead. And Tina's actually going to try to take... Tina's actually going to rest, because she's in a little bit rougher shape than I would like her to be. Then for action 3, she's going to make a roll to try to extinguish some of this fire, just to make the kid's life a little easier. So even though she's not moving this round. Well, Tina's not moving, but the kid might be. I gotta see what all unfolds. Alright, so we do get to extinguish the fire. So that's very welcome. And then Tina's Mythos card is Advancing Cthulhu. Move the Elder One and each monster 1 space toward the undestroyed lab closest to each of them. So the Elder One and each monster move 1 space toward the lab. Uh-oh. We gotta get Olivia some help, like now. Then to the lab closest to them, the other fire vampires there already. Summon a cultist in each damaged lab. So we summon a cultist here. We really need to get Olivia some help this round. Then we remove 1 wound from each lab in a space of the cultist. So the cultists are repairing the lab. That's rather unfortunate. We will be advancing Cthulhu at the end of the round, but first we get a discovery card. So Tina will find medical supplies. Had to be something useful here. Discard this card to heal all wounds from 1 investigator in your space, including you. So we do get to claim the medicine. But because we have 3 cards with symbols on them, we are advancing Cthulhu. So, as we recall, we'll move Cthulhu forward 1 space on the track. Then when he advances, put a relay token in your space. So we put 1 in Tina's space. Summon a cultist on each relay space, which means... So this is actually all happening at the end of the turn. So Tina's already done her discovery. She's already been considered safe for that. The star spawn is not on the board, so we're going to be summoning it at the blue gate. Unfortunately, the kid has to be in that space, but we definitely need to take that thing out very quickly. Alright, and when the Elder One advances, place a fire token in each space that has any cultists and no fire. So we just got rid of that fire, but... So we put fire down in 11B, which we'll see more of when we get into it. We put a fire token right back on top of them, and we put another... Is that no fire? Okay, that's no fire. So we don't put another token... So we don't put another fire token on the lab token, or on the lab space. Which is very fortunate because Olivia does not need to have more fire on the board to deal with. Anyway, that will do it for Tina. We'll reshuffle all of these. That's another reason I'm actually kind of okay with Cthulhu advancing there. Because that actually reshuffles the recurring trauma for the kid. But that will be something to keep an eye on as well. Anyway, Mario's turn, once we give that a cut. Mario's turn, like I said, he needs to get some help to Olivia desperately. So what do I want to attack? Let's go ahead and attack the cultist, I guess. So I think he'll probably just spend this turn shooting things for action 1. I'm probably going to put the kid on Star Spawn detail this turn. Let's see how that goes, though. Anyway, here's attacking the cultist first. I'm going to spend a stress to reroll because I really need a success. Which it's hidden, but there is a success in there, so the cultist is defeated. Then action 2, I'm going to attack the Bayaki next. I'm going to spend a stress to re-roll this because I have 2 successes and I would like to be able to take that Bayaki out if I can. We'll find out how that turns out. Okay, I'm actually not going to spend another stress. I'm going to just accept the 2 wounds there because I need to have Mario rest. So I'll put the 2 wounds on the Bayaki. Then for action 3, Mario will rest. And then his Mythos card. Oh boy. Move the star spawn 2 spaces towards you. Then each investigator in your space loses 1 sanity. And the star spawn would be summoned on red if it's not on the board already. Okay, so the star spawn moves 2 spaces toward you. So 1, 2. This is probably my one gripe with Death May Die. I really like this game, but the spaces on the tiles sometimes are just very small. They get very, especially the single square spaces like we have where Mario is right now. They get very crowded very quickly. But anyway, so then he loses a sanity. Then he's going to make an attack with 3 black dice. Fortunately, we're not in a relay space. We actually ran through that. But we do... This is still probably going to hurt. And actually, I wouldn't mind losing a little bit of sanity here because we actually will level something up. We do have a free reroll when being attacked, though, so we do need to keep that in mind. Oh my. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and reroll that. I wouldn't mind losing the sanity, but I don't want to take 3 hits. I don't want to take 3 wounds. That seems like a very perilous play to make. Two wounds and 2 sanity. That I think I can deal with a little bit more. So we'll take 2 wounds. We have to remember to put 2 wounds on his masochism as well. So we take 2 wounds. But more importantly, 2 sanity, so his insanity goes off. Then we remove the 2 wounds that we just put on there, and we'd heal 1 stress per wound removed, per token removed. So we actually just rested to full stress. And looking at his board, we get to level something up. So I'm actually going to gain Marksman, which will let him gain 2 green dice when attacking a target not in his space. Anyway, that will do it for Mario. Now let's go over to the kid and see what she's doing. So I think she's going to start her turn off. She's right here in purple. She's going to start her turn by trying to take this cultist out. So she's going to get 3 green dice, then 2 greens because of the pistol. I definitely want to put her on Star Spawn detail this turn if I can, so I want to take this cultist out if possible. If I can, there we go. Alright, so the cultist is very dead for action 1. Action 2, we're going to move the kid over, because remember, this is all one big adjacent space. So we'll put the relay tile there in the middle. But see, the kid is going on Star Spawn detail from a space away. So once again, we get the same 5 dice that we had earlier, because we're attacking a space away. And we still have the pistol with Marksman. Alright, so that's actually 3 successes and 2 sanity, which I can work with that. And her disorder goes off, but there's no card next to it to replay, so we duck one there. Then she's going to gain a level in Marksman. So we get another 2 green dice when we're attacking a target not in our space. Which that was 3 wounds on the Star Spawn. So for action 3, we'll take that new skill for a test drive. So we get our normal complement of dice because of our default, our 3 green plus 3 black plus 2 green for the pistol. Then plus another 2 green for our newly leveled Marksman. So now we have 7 dice that we're rolling. And we need 4 successes to take out this Star Spawn. There's another sanity in there, but I do see 4 successes. Actually, I see 5 with the Elder Sign, so the Star Spawn is very defeated, which Mario is grateful for. Anyway, that is all 3 of the kid's actions. So now we go into the Mythos card for the kid. We find... Oh, we just had this before... Uh-oh. Actually, no, I think we're fine here. So we just had this as a recurring trauma earlier. Each fire vampire and Bayaki moves 1 space toward you, so the fire vampire out of shot is going to move toward the stairs. Then the Bayaki and the fire vampire here, fortunately these 2 spaces are not connected, so they're going to move... If they're equidistant paths, I think we can split them up. So I'm going to move the Bayaki there, and the fire vampire over to Mario. And that goes next to the kid. We also, I almost forgot before it goes, we would summon a fire vampire on yellow, except there's not one there. The Bayaki will be summoned once again. The other Bayaki will be summoned once again on blue. That goes next to the kid. And then she's safe, so we get to draw a discovery card. So we'll find a locked cabinet. You can probably pry this open. You may take 3 wounds to claim the Amulet of Ungahal. If you would take wounds, the Amulet of Ungahal, if you would take wounds from fire, you may instead deal that many wounds to 1 enemy in your space. Or the Spirit of, if you do not claim the Spirit of Ungahal. This companion cannot be traded and cannot be given wounds. We can take 3 wounds, but we need to rest. We'll need to rest desperately after this. So if we would take wounds from fire, we can instead deal those wounds to an enemy on our space. So, yeah. Now for Olivia, who suddenly got her space to be a lot safer. Thank goodness. So for her first action, she's actually going to try to take out the... Actually, she's going to try to extinguish fire first, because I want to be able to move her without stacking fire tokens like they're going out of style on her. Let's see how this goes. Two successes gets rid of both fire tokens, thankfully. And for action 2, she'll go back to work on the lab. I almost want to see no successes. So I guess the question here is, do I take the... You know what? I think that's going to be one success and a sanity. I think we take a stress and re-roll this. Because we had two dice that didn't have any successes on them. But if we get her unlucky to trigger, we get 3. Okay, perfect. So, yeah. So when we make a roll that results in no successes, you may gain 1 success for each die you rolled. So we rolled 3 dice, which means we get 3 successes, and this first lab has been destroyed. So let's see what effect we find on this lab. We find... Inferno. Place a fire token in this space and each adjacent space. So that's really going to make Mario happy. Okay, so action 1 was extinguishing fire. Action 2 was attacking the lab. Action 3 will be extinguishing fire once again. Just try to keep that space clear if we can. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so we extinguish the fire, but we do take a wound, or no, we take a stress, which means her disorder goes off, so catatonia, so she lies down. I just realized she can't be attacked, investigate, move, so she actually can't investigate, which is potentially bad. But that was all 3 of her actions. She will take a stress, though, to stand back up, so she can investigate. I'll plan on having her rest this next round. But she does get to level something up. So we'll level up Swiftness to give her a free run action each turn. Anyway, that will do it for Olivia. Now let's see what we're drawing from the Mythos deck. We are finding the Bayaki. Each Bayaki moves directly into your space and then summon a Bayaki on red. Uh-oh. The only consolation here is that we're fresh out of Bayakis. We do need to be careful, though, because remember, we're getting attacked here. Each Elder Sign is going to count as a success. So unfortunately, I did take a stress to stand up, which I'm probably about to get punished for. But Olivia is at full health, so we do have to remember the Bayaki attacks with 2 black and a green, and each Elder Sign counts as a success. Unfortunately, we are fresh out of stress to be able to re-roll these dice. So basically, we're hopefully not going to get boned too hard on this. Yeah, let's go ahead and spend that stress to reroll that green die, because that's 3. That would be 3 wounds, and I still have another attack to go through. That's 2 wounds, which still isn't great, but I can deal with that. At least I have some cushion. Unfortunately, though, I do have my second Bayaki attack, and I have no stress to re-roll this. So I think we're in really deep trouble here, folks. I stand corrected. We got out of that. So I assume Unlucky would trigger, but there's no way she's going to take any successes out of that. So with that, we have survived. We have dodged a bullet big time. So we're going to move back up top and see how the board's changed. About Olivia being safe. Yeah, 2 Bayaki says that space is not safe at all for her. So And we're going to be advancing Cthulhu again very shortly. And we've put Monsters in the Lab right back next to the kids' recurring trauma. So we have both our fire vampires out on the board now. This one's going to be joining us downstairs pretty soon. We've got one on Mario's space who's going to be causing us all kinds of problems. And then still a cultist up here. We also have 4 undamaged labs that we can't really get to right now because we've got too many other problems. Like, namely, we've got to save Olivia somehow. So let's move up. Let's move back down to the board and see what Tina can do about that. The one thing I don't like about this scenario is Tina's going to end up taking a couple of fire... Actually, she's going to take... She's going to take 3 fire tokens either way I do this. But I think between her and the kid, there are best chance to save Olivia. It's hidden back here, but we do actually have 2 fire tokens on Mario's space. So I think the way we do this is we're going to move Tina 1, 2 into this space. The fire vampire won't follow, but we will end up with 3 fire tokens on her. I don't want to use Femme Fatale unless I absolutely need to here. For action 2, she's going to attack the already wounded Bayaki first. So she's going to get her complement of 3 black dice. And because she's attacking the wounded Bayaki first, I'm not going to use Femme Fatale, but I will get a green die for attacking a target in my space with Brawling. And I actually got the dice tower out of shot, but that's actually a very good roll. I would be happy to see that roll taking out the unwounded Bayaki. Anyway, this Bayaki is annihilated. Tina actually takes 2 sanity as well, but she's near a sanity threshold, so she actually takes the 1 to get to the next threshold and stops there. This could be a big, big problem, though, because her psychotic outbreak triggers. And her psychotic outbreak triggers. She's already in a space with figures. She deals 2 wounds to all other figures in the space. So she'll deal 2 wounds to the Bayaki, but also 2 wounds to Olivia, which we need to be very careful not to land anything. Basically, we need to be very careful to have Olivia rest this turn, is what we need to be very careful of. She will level up, though, and she'll level up her Brawling. So now we can split the wounds between the other figures in the space as we please. For action 3, she'll try to take out the other wounded Bayaki. Same situation as before. I'm not going to take a wound to try to deal extra damage. Mainly because I don't need to. I will probably be spending stress, though, because I'm already rolling for 3 fire tokens. The other Bayaki is dead, but I do also take 2 more sanity. So we move up Tina's Sanity Track. Then for her Mythos card, students go mad. If you have any student companions, and she does not, discard a student and summon a cultist in your space. So that will go next to the kids. That will replace the Monsters in the Lab trauma. Actually, we probably would have done this during the turn, but I will discard the medicine to heal Olivia for all of her wounds. So I would have done that a lot earlier had I remembered, but anyway, so that takes care of that. Tina does get a discovery, though. So her discovery this time is a feral student. She only makes vague simian noises. You may take 2 stress to claim the feral student. If you don't, claim the guilty conscience. Guilty conscience, I should have done something. Or Margot, the feral student. While you have her, gain 1 level in Brawling. You can't have both Margot and the professor as companions. Discard 1. And I can basically throw her in I can throw her in front of something. I'm definitely going to take the stress. Yeah, 2 stress to claim Margot, which effectively levels Tina's Brawling up again and lets me have 2 free rerolls when attacking a target in my space. Anyway, that will do it for Tina. Mario has got to try to take... Oh, that will not do it yet for Tina because I've got to roll for her fire. I have 3 fire tokens on Tina, so we're going to do some re-rolling here. A stress, or a sanity, and a tentacle. I'm actually going to take a stress to try to re-roll the success. Another sanity here I actually wouldn't mind, because now at least Olivia can survive the psychotic outbreak. That's even better, actually. So the stress, so I can deal with the sanity loss. Then Tina's 3 fire tokens go away. And now we'll move over to Mario, who really needs to kill this fire vampire if he can. Unfortunately, I can't get away from the fire vampire. Because he'll follow me, and there's 2 fire in the space already. So I'm just going to have to roll a regular attack against it. Fortunately, I still have that reroll when I'm getting attacked. Okay, so we've got 2 successes and a sanity, which I can deal with that. More importantly, I want the 2 successes. And action 2, we'll try to take it. We'll try to take the fire vampire out. Which that will work. We'll take another sanity, but the fire vampire there is taken out. Then action 3, we've got way too much fire in that space right now, so I'm going to see about extinguishing some of it. Another sanity and 2 more successes. So that's actually been an amazing turn for Mario. Anyway, his Mythos card is Advancing Cthulhu. Each cultist currently on a relay space moves 2 spaces toward you and summon cultists on yellow and blue. So we summon cultists on yellow and blue. Then we will be advancing Cthulhu at the end of the round. But we get a discovery card first, we find. Monkey Paw. Painted glyphs on the floor. What is going on here? If you have a monkey as a companion, take 2 wounds and discard the monkey. You may claim the monkey paw or discard it to heal all your health. We're probably going to be resting this turn. Well, each elder sign counts as both a success and a sanity. This can't be traded. I will go ahead and claim the monkey paw, because now it lets me do something with his elder signs. But anyway, we are advancing Cthulhu, so we advance him on the track, which I'm doing off shot. Right, so we put a relay token on his space. Then we summon the cultist on each relay. Then we summon a cultist on each relay space. You get a cultist there and a cultist there. Move the star spawn 1 space toward you, except it's actually summoned on blue. Then place a fire token. We can't get away from this fire. Alright, so fire, that has fire, this does not. That does, and then 11B off shot does have fire on it. So, okay. Yeah, which means all this gets reshuffled. We're actually dangerously close to having Cthulhu come on the board, and we haven't made any progress on the other 3 labs. We've been trying to keep the board something resembling under control. We also need to be very careful, though, because the kid is starting to get a little lower on health than I would like. So I think the plan with the kid, once I finish reshuffling everything, actually, let's see if I can do this in midair. Ish. So I think the plan with the kid is going to be to try to kill that cultist for 1. So we'll get our 3 black dice, 2 green dice for the pistol, and we don't get the 2 dice for the marksman because we're not a space away. We do have stress to reroll, so yeah, she really needs to rest this turn. Alright, I can take 2 sanity, but most importantly, the cultist is defeated. Then she will rest to go up to full health. Then for action 3, she's actually going to try to put some wounds on this star spawn. So we get the same dice that we had, but now we get the 2 additional dice from being a space away. I may try to take this star spawn out in one shot. Except I'm going to have a pretty terrible time with it, but I will get to deal it 3 wounds. No sanity there, which is rather unfortunate, but in the grand scheme of things, I think that kind of worked out. Mythos card for the kid. Fire Vampire. The nearest Fire Vampire moves 2 spaces toward you, then place a fire token in its space. So the nearest Fire Vampire is actually the one that's been upstairs this whole game off-shot. So it's actually going to move 1, 2 to the kid. Then we place a fire token in its space. Then we summon the other Fire Vampire on blue. So again, this is what I'm talking about with this board getting extremely crowded very quickly. That's the one thing I don't like about this game. And this card, again, this card does have a symbol on it, so we do need to keep an eye on that. Then the Fire Vampire attacks with a green and 2 black, and when it attacks, first place a fire token in its space. So, yeah, I think we're going to need to do some serious fire dousing this round. So the kid's getting attacked. And taking 2 wounds out of it, which she can probably deal with that. So I'll go ahead and take that. That will do it for the kid. Now let's move over to Olivia, who's going to rest so I can heal most of her stress. Then for action 2, she's going to... Is it her turn to try to save somebody? Not with rolls like... Not with... Well... I think what she's going to do is she's actually going to start working on this lab all the way over here. Unfortunately, she's going to be passing through fire to do it. But she can actually get past the cultist at least. So we're going to move 1, 2, 3. We'll get 2 fire tokens for Olivia. Those will go on her character. Then action 3, she will start working on the lab. So we'll make a roll against it. And once again, I might consider re-rolling a single success, just so I can get 3 on the lab. I will take 2 successes though, with 1 sanity. Like 2 successes is nothing to complain about. But let's take a look at our Mythos card for Olivia. Students go mad. If you have any student companions, she does not. The only one who does is Tina. Discard a student and spawn a cultist. So, yeah, so that'll go next to the kid. Then we get a discovery card out of that. Olivia finds clutter. Hard to find anywhere. Hard to find anything in this mess. You may take 1 stress to claim the beaker. You may discard this card to deal wounds to all labs and figures, either in your space, including you, or an adjacent space. Each target takes wounds equal to the number of fire tokens in their space. So we will take 1 stress to claim the beaker. Now we want to start getting fire out there, but we want to keep the space clear of our investigators first. All right, so that's the end of the round. Let's move back up top to see how the board's changed. So this middle part of the board is turning into a complete mess. We've got the star spawn down here with 3 wounds on it. We've got both fire vampires out. The kid is... It's hard to see, but the kid is very trapped in there. We've also got 2 relay spaces out right here and over here with Mario. Tina's probably going to go upstairs and work on the labs up here a little bit this turn. We've got 2 wounds on the lab with Olivia over here. So with that, let's get back down to the board and see what Tina's doing. Alright, so we're starting off with Tina up here in shot. She's actually going to move upstairs, so she's going to move 1, 2, 3. She's going to pick up 3 fire tokens on the way, which is far from ideal, but I don't think there's much I can do with that about that. Action 2, she will make an attack. She'll make a roll on the lab. Got the dice tower up here in shot. This is not an attack, so she doesn't get any of her brawling effects. Alright, that's 2 successes and an insanity, so we'll stop at the sanity threshold for a second. I'll get the 2 wounds first. But her psychotic outbreak is going to trigger. So let me see. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I wanted to get into the blue gate, try to clear that out, but I have to stop at the nearest space with figures, which will probably be here. We'll deal 2 wounds to the cultist. She'll actually get another fire because she had to leave her space. So she's got 4 fire tokens. That could potentially be hazardous. But she does get to level something up. So I will have her level up her stealth so she can sneak 3 times. And then she's going to rest because I'm going to need all the stress I can get my hands on for rerolls coming up because mostly because I'm rerolling for 4 fire tokens. Anyway, her Mythos card. Fire Vampire. Each Fire Vampire moves 1 space towards you. Then place a fire token in their spaces. Then we'd summon a Fire Vampire on yellow, except we already have both Fire Vampires on the board. We also have a symbol on the Ancient One track, so each Fire Vampire moves there. That does free the kid to rest, so that's the only good thing about it. 2 more fire tokens. We are going to be out of fire here very quickly. We do get a discovery card, but again, Tina's going to be rolling for a lot of fire. So her discovery card this round is a desk. Shoved against the wall. What's in this drawer? You may claim the whiskey bottle. Discard this card to heal all of your stress and discard all of your guilty conscience conditions. So we will claim the whiskey bottle. And now we're going to roll for all this fire. So once again, we have 4 fire tokens. Unfortunately, we cannot take 4 wounds. So we're going to most likely be spending all this stress to try to not take damage from all these fire tokens. 2 successes and 3 sanity. That could be bad. So I'm actually going to spend a stress to reroll. I'm going to reroll this one. I can deal with like 1 or 2 on both, but I don't want to be taking 3 sanity, especially since I'm starting to get up there a little bit. Alright, so, okay, I can deal with that. So 1 wound, 2 sanity, and then I discard all the fire tokens. That could have gone a lot worse than I was preparing for it to. But anyway, that will do it. That will do it for Tina. Into Mario's turn, he's going to go ahead and clear that cultist out. So he's got 3 black dice to try to do it with. We'll spend a stress to try to re-roll. Alright, so the cultist is defeated. He does take a sanity. Then he takes a wound because he's got no wounds on masochism right now, because we got rid of them last time. Then he will level up. He'll actually level up his marksman so he can attack a target one additional space away for a total of 2. That was action 1 dealing with the cultist. Action 2, he's going to rest, so he's not in danger of just biting it. Then action 3, he is going to take a shot at the... As much as it's legal, but hardly thematic, I am going to take a shot at the star. I'm going to take a shot at the star spawn. Technically, it's legal because you remember this is all one big space, but there is no way he's got anything resembling line of sight on the star spawn. But I might as well take it as long as the letter of the law it's legal. So we get. And actually, the Elder Sign counts as a success and a tentacle. I don't think we had any Elder Signs in that roll. I'll have to double check that on editing. But we get 2 green dice when we're attacking the star spawn because it's not in our space. So let's take a shot. And now that I'm actually remembering, each Elder Sign may count as both of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we lose 2 sanity. Oh, we should have had an extra green die. Not that it matters because the star spawn is very dead. But I'll reroll it for sake of completeness. Okay, we got nothing there. But yeah, so we lose 2 more sanity, and the star spawn is dead. So, okay. Let's see, that was 1, rest 2, attack 3. Alright, so Mythos card for Mario. We are advancing Cthulhu. Move the Elder One and each monster 1 space toward the undestroyed lab closest to each of them. Summon a cultist in each damaged lab. That's unfortunate. Then remove 1 wound from each lab in a space of the cultist. That is also very unfortunate. So, we summon a cultist here and here. Then we move the Elder One in each monster 1 space toward the undestroyed lab closest. So fire vampires move there. Cultists probably move... I can move them to either one. So I'll move them here just so the kid isn't so crowded in. Then each cultist heals each lab for 1. We get a discovery card from Mario, and then we are advancing Cthulhu again. Fire equipment. This should come in handy. You may claim the fire extinguisher or the fire axe. The fire extinguisher gives 2 green dice to extinguish a fire, or when attacking you get a green die if you have the Brawling skill. I think we're going to claim the fire extinguisher because fire is starting to get very out of control here. So we'll put this on Mario's character. And then we advance the Elder One again. So Cthulhu is going to move. He's 1 advancement away from jumping onto the board, and we haven't disrupted the ritual yet, which is very bad. So we'll give these a shuffle. This mid-air shuffle thing is probably not the best thing in the world, but we do have to do everything else about advancing the Ancient One, which I'll do that in a second. Once I get done giving this a shuffle and a cut. Okay, now put a relay token, except there's a relay token on his space, so we put it on the nearest one that doesn't have a relay token, which is there. Summon a cultist on each relay space. The kid is not going to be very happy coming out of this turn. Then the star spawn comes right back on blue. Speaking of the kid, let's see if we can do a little bit of killing on some of these cultists, just to try to get the board something resembling clear. So we'll go ahead and we'll attack. Might as well just start attacking cultists. Alright, so 2 successes, which means the first cultist is... Actually, that's 3 successes because of Arcane Mastery. So the first cultist is dead. Then the second one... is also defeated. Then the third... also bites it, and we advance her sanity. So all 3 cultists are defeated. Recurring trauma has nothing next to it. And then for advancing, we have... And then we'll advance her Marksman, so she can now attack targets up to 2 spaces away as well. Then the Kid's Mythos card... Oh boy, the nearest fire vampire moves 2 spaces towards you, then put a fire token in its space. Then we summon a fire vampire on blue, except they're both on the board. So this fire vampire moves toward the kid. We're going to be placing a fire token in its space, and then another one because it is going to be attacking. So the kid is just going to get burned here. So the fire vampire attacks with a green and 2 black. Okay, nothing happens there, so that's very fortunate. Alright, over to Olivia then. I think I forgot to roll for Olivia's fire last turn, so let's do that real quick. Alright, so both of those go away. Now, Olivia's action 1 is actually going to be to attack the cultist in her space. See if we can take that out. We very much can, but we hit 3 sanity. So we take 3 sanity, which means the cultist is defeated. Her catatonia triggers. Then we'll level her... We'll level her unlucky. So now we can change a blank, one of my dice to a blank face, except when rolling against myself. Now I'll take a stress to stand back up. Action 2, I'll rest. Then action 3 will make another roll against that lab. Which means this I can change a die to a blank face. Which I will go ahead and change that to a blank face and get 3 successes to blow the lab up. So let's see what happens on this lab. We get... Major explosion. Deal 2 wounds to all enemies in this and adjacent spaces. So the fire vampire here takes 2 wounds, which is very welcome. I'm glad we're not putting out more fire because we don't need that right now. Then our Mythos card. Monsters in the Labs, which is going to the kids' space, which is going to the kids' recurring trauma again. So each fire vampire and Bayaki moves 1 space toward you. So we move that, which means Olivia is now getting attacked this round. Then we summon the Bayaki on blue. And yep, Olivia is getting attacked again by the fire vampire. So we put a fire token in the space. It attacks with 1 green and 2 black. I like the result, so no wounds there. Anyway, since we're already up top, we had to move up top to move Tina up to the lab, upstairs. Let's take a quick look at the board. Once again, the blue gate has gotten very crowded. The kids' position went from perilous to okay, so we're kind of okay for the time being. We can probably do some damage on the star spawn. Olivia did manage to destroy a lab, but she's got a fire vampire on her space. Although with 2 wounds, so we might be able to take that out. Tina's going to work on the labs up here on this round. Mario is a very good marksman now. So yeah, I think, but the kid's space is just so crowded with fire. I may actually bring Mario down and try to extinguish some of that fire for the kid. But with that, let's move down to Tina and continue with her turn. Tina will work on the lab in her space for action 1. Two successes on that. Action 2, she's going to rest, so she's going to heal back up to full. Then action 3, she'll do it again. Oh, she should have a green die, so I'll roll for the first attack. For the first against the lab. So that'll actually be a 3rd wound on the lab. I still would have rested for action 2. Action 3 will run that back. Alright, 2 sanity, but most importantly, the lab is destroyed. So we'll see what the effect is before we resolve Tina's insanity, before we resolve her disorder. So the effect on the lab... Safe collapse. Heal all of your stress, except we healed it all the way to full. So that's 3 of the 4 labs destroyed. Or that's 3 of the 4 labs that we need destroyed. Alright, so now we resolve Tina's psychosis, her psychotic outbreak. So I have the options, but I think the best option here is to choose the one that's going to take me to the lab. So actually, should she have taken... No, she started the turn here. So she actually does take a fire token, though. Because she's on the... Because she was on the space. So she'll deal 2 wounds to all other figures. So this cultist is going to be defeated. And then Tina will actually get to heal something. We'll actually get to level something up. She'll level up her... She'll level up her Brawling all the way. So deal full wounds to each target in her space. Okay, so that was lab, rest, lab again. Okay, and then the psychosis triggered from the outbreak, or from the lab attack. Okay, so Mythos card for Tina. Alright, move the nearest cultist to your space and choose 1. Add a relay token to your space. If there's one already there, add to the nearest one, or lose 2 sanity. Well, that'll swap out with the one in the kid's space. We are starting to get up there a little bit, though, so we do need to be careful. But I will move the cultist up, move the nearest cultist up to her. Then I will have her... we'll put a relay space down. Then the cultist will attack with 2 green dice. Tina doesn't get a discovery because she isn't safe. Nothing happens for Tina. At least on that, but we do have to roll... Bring the dice tower back and shot. We do have to roll for fire. Nothing happens there either, so that's very welcome. Alright, so that will do it for Tina. Now let's move up into the mess where Mario and company are all trying to do their thing. As much as I want to take that star spawn out with Mario, I don't want to leave the kid there with 5 fire tokens when she goes to move. So action 1, I'm going to bring Mario down. Action 2, I'm going to extinguish fire, so I get 3 black dice plus 2 green when I try to extinguish fire. We'll bring the dice tower into shot here. See if we can't clear at least some of these fire tokens, which reminds me, Mario should have a fire token from leaving his space. Alright, so that's... And I gotta remember, each elder sign counts as both a success and a tentacle. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we lose 3 sanity. So we have 4 successes, which means we get those. And then he takes a wound, since he has no wounds on masochism. Then for his skill, he'll actually level up Marksman to perform 1 free attack against a target not in his space. So action 1 was to move, action 2 was to extinguish fire. This will be a free attack against the star spawn. So 5, 6, 7. So you got a free attack against the star spawn. Actually, he only has 5 green dice. We'll have to roll 2 too many. Oh my! Wow! Alright, so he loses another... Actually, he should have another green die because of his sanity threshold anyway. I forgot about that on the... So we'll roll this for the... So this first roll will be for the last fire token. Nothing there. And then this for the attack. Wow! So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 2 sanity. So the star spawn is defeated again. We are doing a nice job of keeping that off the board. But we also are going to try to take out the... For action 3, I think we're also going to go ahead and take out the... Let's take out the fire vampire. That fire's been getting out of control. So we're going to aim at... So we're going to aim at this fire vampire right here. We've got enough dice? Yes, we do. Okay. Yowza. So, may count. So do I have... The question is, do I have 4 successes without it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I do. I also have 2 sanity, which actually stops at another threshold, which means he'll take out the fire vampire, but he'll take another stress because of masochism. Well, another wound, I should say, because of masochism. And then he will level up his interrogation. So now cultists can't spawn in his space, which means if we park him on a gate, and cultists are pretty much all covered. So Mythos card for Mario. Each investigator on in a relay space loses 1 sanity. So Tina's in a relay space, as is Mario. Actually, the kid is there as well. Olivia is not. And that does have a symbol, so we won't... So we're sensitive to that advancing Cthulhu. Which means our discovery card for the round, or for Mario. The Professor. Have you seen my students? They escaped, walked out, during an experiment. If any investigator has the spirit of Engahal, the Professor bursts into flames. Discard this and lose 1 sanity. Otherwise, you may take 2 stress to claim the Professor. Warren Gates Professor. While you have him, gain 1 level in Arcane Mastery. So, nobody has the spirit of Engahal. The only one who has anything related to Engahal is the kid, but she got rid of that. So, I think we will take 2 stress to claim the Professor, which means we gain a level in Arcane Mastery. So, for that... Which means now he's got another way to count Elder Signs as successes. Where is the... here we go. So we've got these tokens to signify when an investigator doesn't have a skill, they gain a level in it. So now he gets to count an elder sign as a success in another way. And then he's got to roll for fire. And we have one free reroll when we're rolling for fire. I haven't been paying attention to that for attacking. Well, I haven't been paying attention to that for attacking, but wound and a stress, let's reroll that. Because I would put him at full stress and 2 wounds from dead. So, something I want to be very careful of. So we end up with the wound. The lesser of 2 evils in this case, but not that he's in great shape either way. Now for the kid. So the kid's actually going to go ahead and take a shot at the Bayaki. So 3 black dice, 2 green for leveled Marksman, and another 2 green for the pistol. One, 2, 3, so the Bayaki's dead with no sanity. Then for action 2, I'll move her down to the last lab. So 1, 2, she'll gain 2 fire from the... She'll gain 2 fire from moving through fire tokens. Then we'll make a roll against the lab. So 3 black and a green for a sanity threshold. And she gets to count an elder sign as a success. One, 2, 3. Do I try to destroy the lab here? Because destroying the lab here disrupts the ritual and summons Cthulhu, where we can actually start to work on him. I think we do. I think we do try to destroy it. And we get there. Very nice. Alright, so here we have Major Explosion. Deal 2 wounds to all enemies in this and adjacent spaces. There are no adjacent enemies, but we have disrupted the ritual because if you remember, we needed to destroy 4 labs. So now we move into stage 2. So now we have 4 stages of Cthulhu. So now we move into stage 2. All right. It's not letting me read this. When revealed, summon Cthulhu into your space. Each enemy in a relay space moves 1 space toward you. So... And at the end of each turn, we're going to put a relay token on Cthulhu's space. If there's one there already, put it in the nearest space that doesn't have one. We also need to do 12 damage to Cthulhu to take him out. So now we've changed the threshold of the game. And I think when Cthulhu advances is still active as well. So Cthulhu joins the kid. That doesn't look intimidating at all. Alright, so each enemy in a relay space moves 1 space toward you. So that moves toward... We can actually get that lab off the board, I think. Okay. So that last lab has been destroyed. The cultist that was with Tina moved 1 space toward the kid. And I think that's... Oh no, this cultist also moves 1 space... I think that's the shortest path. Yeah, I think that's the shortest path. Okay, so move, destroy the lab. So now let's go ahead and let's try to put some wounds on Cthulhu. So we'll get 5 green dice, or we'll get 5 dice, 3 black, 2 green. Oop, and I had a die go flying again. There it went. We do have Arcane Mastery, too, so... And I should have one more green die because of my sanity threshold. I am terrible about remembering that. Okay, so Arcane Mastery means I can count one Elder Sign as a success, which means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes, but 2 sanity. So that will go there. Then we'll get 5 wounds on stage 1 of Cthulhu. That was all 3 actions. So now we've changed. So now the game has changed a little bit. Now let's go through this more when we move back up top. But our Mythos card for the round. Lab accident. In each figure in an undestroyed lab takes 1 wound, except we removed all the labs off the board because we advanced the ritual and that became pointless. Also, each investigator with a guilty conscience takes 2 stress. For each stress they can't take, they take a wound instead. But we don't have a stress to... We don't have... And nobody has a guilty conscience, but we are advancing Cthulhu at the end of the round. Or at the end of this turn. So Cthulhu does attack. I didn't mention that, but he will attack as well. He will attack with 2 green and 2 black dice, which this could be very bad. So I'm probably going to be spending stress to try to keep the kid alive. Let's... Three wounds, which would take the kid out, so I'm going to go ahead and re-roll some of this. Spend another stress. Spend my last stress, because unfortunately I'm also rolling for fire this round, since I had to move the kid. Alright, unfortunately that's 2 wounds, and we still have our fire reroll to make. We still have our fire roll to make. We have 2 fire tokens, and I am out of stress. Two sanity, which means we stop there. No card to redraw, but we do get to level something up. So we will get to level up Arcane Mastery, since now we're at the point of the game where we need to just put wounds on Cthulhu like they're going out of style. Actually, what was the recurring... I think the last card was Astral Promise. So, yeah, that was Astral Promise, which means she will lose another... we'll lose another 2 sanity. So that should have actually happened on the trauma. But, okay, so we have advanced Cthulhu, which means we put a relay tile on Cthulhu's space. So he's right there. Or on your space, okay. Actually, so at the end of each turn, we're putting a relay token in Cthulhu's space, which means we're going to run out of those very quickly. But I actually need to change the battery, so I'll be right back. Alright, had to change the battery. Yes, you can probably hear in the background I turned the air conditioner on because I'm actually starting to get rather warm this morning. So, yeah. So now we're over to Olivia's turn. So action 1, she's going to try to take out the fire vampire over there. I don't want that causing us problems while we need to land on this big giant mother like a 1,000-pound bomb. So we get 3 black and her green die. Fire vampire is defeated and she takes 1 stress, or 1 sanity. Because we had, actually, 2 successes, enough to defeat the fire vampire with 2 wounds on it. Action 2, ick. Actually, action 2, better idea, is we're going to move here. I'm going to pick up a fire token, but I need to bring Tina down on her next round, and I don't want her running through 4 fire tokens to get there. So action 3 is going to be to try to extinguish some of that fire. Actually, that's her 3 run actions, so this is actually action 2. We need to re-roll some of it. We need to re-roll that. I want to get at least 2 of those fire tokens gone. Okay, we can take a sanity and get rid of 2 of those fire tokens. Then action 3 will actually just go ahead and try to clear the space. Take another sanity, and the fire is all clear. So Tina's all good to come downstairs. Anyway, Mythos card for Olivia. If the star spawn is on the board, which it's not, each investigator in space would lose 2 sanity, then it would move 2 spaces toward us, but we summon the star spawn on blue. Alright, so there's that. We get Olivia gets a discovery because she's safe. She finds... Good boy. Who's a good boy? You may take 2 stress to claim the dog. If you don't, claim the guilty conscience. We do have 2 stress, but we need to rest. So we get to heal 1... So Rex the dog. Heal 1 stress at the end of each of your turns. So we'll take 2 stress to claim the dog. Next we'll roll for fire. We only have the 1 fire token. We can deal. We have to take the wound because we don't have any stress, which will heal. Will heal back from Rex. So that will do it for that. Now let's move back up top to take a quick look at how the board's changed. We also forgot to do the end of turn for Olivia's turn, so we'll put the relay space, a relay token, nearest space that doesn't have one. So her space is actually right here, which does have a relay token on it. So that gets a relay token. That doesn't have a relay token on it, so it gets one. Yeah, giant fishman alert, everybody! Cthulhu has joined the game. So I came perilously close to having to talk about this earlier with the kid, but she barely survived. So now that Cthulhu is on the board, we have a new lose parameter where now we have to... Now if Cthulhu kills everybody, now that's how we lose. So we need to be very careful not to have that happen. But let's get back down to Tina, and we'll continue, and we'll see about continuing this game. Alright, let's get Tina downstairs. So we're going to move 1, 2, 3. She's going to pick up 2 fire tokens on the way. So there are the 2 fire tokens for Tina. Action 2. Do we send her in at the risk of potentially getting her killed needlessly? I don't think so. That doesn't seem like a good plan. So action 2... I think action 2 is... Actually, I think we do have to risk it right now. So 1, 2, pick up 2 more fire tokens. We do have full stress though, so this is a potentially dangerous play, but I think it's worth a shot. Then action 3, we will go ahead and attack. So we'll get 3 black, a green because of her sanity threshold, another green because of brawling. Then she'll take 1 wound to gain another green die. I'm going to be counting on stress to try to survive some of this. One, 2, 3 successes, so that puts Cthulhu up to 8. Then that's the end of the round. Mythos card, or the end of her turn, Mythos card. Each cultist moves 1 space toward you. If you're in a relay space, lose a sanity. And then we summon cultists on... So we lose another sanity. Then we summon cultists on yellow and red. And that ends up going next to the kid. So red and yellow. Tina then gets attacked by Cthulhu. And this is before we even talk about rolling for fire. So I might have just gotten Tina killed needlessly, but we'll find out. 2 wounds and a sanity. I'll actually take a stress to reroll one of the successes. We'll take another stress. Actually, I'm going to take one more stress because I want to reroll this tentacle. I don't want to get the kid killed here. If I can avoid it. Unfortunately, I'm going to get the kid killed here, and I will explain why in a second. So, I take 1 wound, and I take 1 sanity, which brings me up to another sanity threshold. Psychotic Outbreak triggers, which actually will defeat the kid, but it'll do another 2 damage to Cthulhu, bringing him up to bringing stage 2 up to 10. I was hoping I wasn't going to get the kid killed here. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do there. Alright, so those get discarded. And the kid is now out of the game. Oop, I forgot to shuffle these in, so I'm not going to rewind that right now. I'll just shuffle these 2 in. So it would require rewinding 2 turns, and in the interest of the video and time, I'm not going to do that. Alright, so once again, the kid is now out of the game. Kid's been defeated. Kid's been killed. So, alright, now we still have to roll for fire, though, so we might still lose Tina off of this. We have one stress to reroll. So let's get the dice tower and shot. That's 2 successes, which I can take. I did almost forget to level up, so I'll level up for Femme Fatale. Alright, so now we're over to Mario. He's going to take a shot at Cthulhu with his Marksman as well. So this will be his free attack. So we get 3... So the fire tokens are all gone. We do desperately need to rest with Tina, so if we can chase Cthulhu off, that would be great. At the end of the turn, we put a relay token out. So nearest space that doesn't have one will be over here. And yeah, again, that's what I don't like about this game. This is very crowded. So, yeah. So Mario will take a shot at Cthulhu. This again will be his free attack. So 3 black, 2 green for sanity thresholds, and 2 green for target not in your space. That looks like chasing Cthulhu away. So we have defeated stage 2. So now let's take a look at what stage 3 is going to entail. So when this is revealed, we move Cthulhu to the blue gate and make that even more crowded. Each investigator in a relay space takes 1 wound and loses 1 sanity. So Cthulhu moves to the blue gate. Unfortunately, I think we're all in relay spaces right now, so takes a wound and loses a sanity. So that's stage. Wait, no, this is stage 2. Hang on, we did that wrong. No, we didn't. That's stage 3. Never mind. Okay, so we were looking at the right stage. Each investigator in a relay space takes a wound and loses a sanity. Unfortunately, the wound also takes Tina out, which is unfortunate. And the wound and loses a sanity. So, wound from Mario and loses a sanity. Olivia takes a wound, loses a sanity. She hits her threshold, so she'll tip down. Then we'll level up her. Her unlucky. So right now we have Mario and the kid left to go against Cthulhu, which seems like it could be very bad. But That was Mario's free attack. So he's going to use action 2 to attack again. Same dice. And the Elder Sign counts as... The Elder Sign counts as a success and a tentacle, and we have a level in Arcane Mastery. Wow. Okay, so that's going to be taking a bunch of sanity, but we're going to stop at 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 sanity. So we stop at another threshold. I don't think I can afford to do that. I probably should have rested first. Yeah, let's rewind that. I'm going to rest, so I'm going to heal 3 wounds. Then I'm actually going to reroll the attack since I was rewinding that. So, free action. Action 1, rest. Action 2, take a shot at Cthulhu. And actually, I do have a wound on masochism from taking the wound on advancing to stage 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll put 8 wounds on stage 3, and we'll stop at the sanity threshold. So 5, 6... that shouldn't be revealed yet. 5, 6, 8 wounds on Cthulhu. Then we do stop at a sanity threshold, so we heal a stress per wound removed, and I will level up Toughness. Yeah, Toughness. That was... Let's see, we had a free attack that chased Cthulhu off. Action 1 was to rest, Action 2 was to attack again, and Action 3 will be to run 1 more attack. We are still 1 space away. That blue gate is very crowded, but we do get 1 more attack. And we, 1, 2, 3, 4, we definitely run Cthulhu off again, but we need to be very careful with tentacles now. So we do take a wound from masochism, and we'll level up cultists can't. We'll level up interrogation. So when we advance to stage 4, we find final stage. When revealed, move Cthulhu to the starting space. Each investigator must discard all item and companion cards. They may take 1 wound for each card they wish to keep. If you need to place a relay token on the board but can't, each investigator loses 2 sanity. So another 12 health stage, but everything else is active. So Cthulhu is actually going to move to the starting space. Then discard all item and companion cards. So I think Olivia is going to discard... I think Olivia is going to discard the... Actually, Olivia is going to discard everything. Tina is, of course, defeated, so I'll get her stuff off. Mario is also going to discard everything. Yeah. No, he's actually going to take a wound to keep Professor Gates. His Arcane Mastery is very good. I'm discarding the Monkey Paw as well with Mario because I can't keep taking sanity. I'm actually 1 sanity from getting him driven insane. But on that note, we have our Mythos card. Monsters in the lab. Each fire vampire and Bayaki, yada yada yada, moves 1 space toward you. So I'm going to fire vampire on yellow and a Bayaki on blue. And a Bayaki on blue. Okay. And that doesn't have the... whatchamacall. Mario is safe though, so he does get a discovery. Cages. This cage contains a one-handed lab monkey. It looks at you cunningly. If you have a guilty conscience, take 1 stress. You may claim the lab monkey to discard to give 1 of your items to an investigator anywhere, or heal all of your stress and claim the guilty conscience. I think we'll claim the guilty conscience and we'll heal all of our stress. Because right now, it's basically like do whatever you have to do to kill Cthulhu. Alright, then at the end of the turn, we place each investigator loses a sanity, so actually Mario just gets driven insane anyway. Olivia loses a sanity, and we place a relay token on... Place a relay token on Cthulhu's space, so we have one there. Alright, so Olivia is in a... As the dice go flying. So Olivia is in a very bad way here. She is going to stand up. She is going to take a stress to stand up, which is a very risky play, but I think the video is almost over at this point. So action 1, she's going to attack the fire vampire. She gets green. Unfortunately, I have no... I do have a set option, but let's see what happens. Okay, so I get to change 2 of my dice to blank faces. So I get to change those. And now my unlucky triggers, which means I get a success per die rolled. So I get to take out the fire vampire for action 1. Action 2, we'll take on the cultist. We'll change that to a blank. Take out the cultist. We take a sanity. Then action 3, she'll rest. And now I'm alone with Anti-Lady Luck against Cthulhu. This is going to be a dangerous game. But we get last symbol. Each investigator in a relay space loses 1 sanity, which causes her to hit a threshold again. Lay your figure down. We will definitely be resting on this. We were planning on resting this turn anyway, but we can't investigate because Catatonia triggered. I'm going to level up Unlucky because I think I'm relying on Anti-Lady Luck to try to get there. Right, and then this shuffles. And this will shuffle. Where is the rest of here's the Mythos deck. Alright, so at the end of the turn, Olivia will lose a sanity. Then we place a relay token on Cthulhu's space, except there's one there already, so we go to space 4A. Alright, so we have effectively 3 turns to kill Cthulhu. So we're already basically up top, so here's what's changed on the board. Olivia's alone against the namesake of the Cthulhu mythos, which is probably not a good spot to be in, but let's see what we can do here. So action 1 for Olivia, she's going to rest. Then she's going to take a stress to stand up. Then she's going to take her free run action to go 1, 2, 3 to Cthulhu, taking a fire token in the process. Then action 2, she's going to attack. She's going to get her 3 black and 2 green dice. Unfortunately, I think this is going to be a case of step in, attack, step out, because sneak is a thing. One wound and a sanity. This is not good. Then action 3, she will step out and plan on resting next turn. Mythos card, so we actually should have advanced Cthulhu probably 2 stages. The thing that should not be, if Cthulhu is on the board, each investigator loses 1 sanity. So we lose another sanity, which means Catatonia goes off again. Then we'll level up. Oh, wait, I'm an idiot. I'm not going to rewind to that. I will level up stealth. I'm an idiot because I could have set that down and gotten 5 successes on Cthulhu. But anyway, a little late to worry about that now. Then Olivia's got to roll for fire. Which we will take that because I don't... I'm going to be taking more damage right now. Although I am resting this round, so I can probably deal with the wound. But at least there's no more fire left. So, we'll actually give this a quick pause. Okay, Olivia, time to go be a hero. So for action 1, she'll rest. Then she'll take a stress to stand up, which doesn't look to be an action. Free run, she'll step in. Then she'll attack. She gets 3 extra green dice because of her sanity threshold. So this is action 2. I will use Unlucky to change that. I'll actually use her ability to change both of those to down tokens. They're to blank faces. So we have no successes, but we actually get 1 success for each die we rolled. So we get 6 successes because we rolled 6 dice. And then we'll run the attack back for action 3. And we get to change 3 of these dice to blank faces. So because we have no successes, we get 6. And we have actually defeated Cthulhu against all odds in this scenario. Wow. That was a close one. Somehow it's Anti-Lady Luck who turns out to be the hero. So... yeah, let's move all the way back up top to wrap this video up. Wow, for a lousy relationship with Lady Luck, we sure pulled that one out of the fire in the end. But, yeah. So, Olivia, after losing everybody else and against all odds, turns out to be the hero of the day. So, that will do it for this playthrough of Cthulhu Death May Die. Next week, it's about time for our fall campaign in Arkham Horror the card game. So we'll have the intro to the campaign later this week, and then on Sunday we'll have the first scenario in Return to Night of the Zealot, as we play Return to the Gathering. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.